Okay, so here's what it looks like when you import the point cloud into Tekla Structures. Let's see. Can fly in here. Oops. Right. And it's going to be a little wonky because I don't have anything in here, so it doesn't really grab to anything. But anyway, I'll show you how it's much easier to see these red lines in just a second, and then how we can kind of lay this out. So a couple things. Let's see. Go to size, can just be smaller, whatever. So pretty much everything's done orthogonal. You can see that you can turn everything on and it's all just the same. Okay. So we turn off the complete, which is the whole building. I'm missing floor, but that doesn't really matter. I should have another one that's floor, but it really doesn't matter for you guys. You can use the complete one if you need that. This full rebar one is what 99% of the work you guys are going to be doing needs, because it shows where all the rebar is around the side of the building. Light, that's just 25% of the points or so. There's 5 million points in this one and 25 million in this one, or something like that. A little bit bigger of the walls, in case you need to see this duct work. Nate mentioned something about that, so there's some duct work there. And then the roof, which would be usable if, I believe, somewhere over here, I think this column might be replaced. Let's see. Yeah, I think down to here, this column. So you might end up needing to put like a saddle right here. So then you've got that information, and then you just use the complete one. Now you know where the floor is beneath it. So anyway, rebar full is where we're going to be working, and we'll just start over here. And I'll show you two different places. I'll show you this wall that's super easy to see, and then this wall that's a little darker. So just come up to a plane mode now, and then we'll basically be creating views along these planes. So new view using 2 points. You just come in here, figure out where the wall is, which is the more dense, line on the left. This is like some overhang or conduit or something. And just anywhere in there, click once. And now you can see the points of the arrows where the view is. Obviously, we want to look towards the wall, so you just go orthogonal. Boom. So now we don't care about that. We should have deleted the grid. Fit work area, entire model is nothing. So you got to zoom out. So the reason is it thinks there's nothing in the model right now. It doesn't recognize the point cloud as a thing. So just click below it and come way over here. Turn on your point cloud. We didn't grab it, so come over here even more. Something's wrong. Oh, there it is. It's just too far out. So here, here, here. Okay. So now, realistically, actually, we'll probably be working here. This can be a whole lot easier if, in Tekla Structures, if the first thing you do is like make a concrete pad or something. So like, just to show you guys what that would look like, you could just basically put a few points at corners. We'll just come here and then go back in. Doesn't matter. Tekla just doesn't really operate very smoothly when you have zero information. So we should now be able to select the points. It's not wanting to select. There we go. So I selected the points. They're all at 0 elevation. Come here to concrete, slab. I'll just draw this real quick. It doesn't need to be pretty. It will just help us orient ourselves in the model much easier. those. We don't need those points anymore. Okay, and then here, now we've got our ground. So it'd be easier when we make this view to see that. Here, here, here. So already it's obviously much easier to see these. So point cloud, you can up your density, and you can zoom way in. You can see all of those. These are, I think these are not even 12 inches apart. Yeah, you get to these are about 3 inches or 4 inches apart, or 3 inches apart right here. So obviously it's very easy to see these. And you could do something like just pick a point, go vertical, and then we want to be able to click anywhere, but specifically not on these points, I think. No, so it's not that. Yeah, so we should be able to come here. And you could, let's see. It's going to take a little bit of trial and error to figure out which way is easiest. To figure out how to see these lines over the red. But it's very easy is the point to see those. This was steel, so there's nothing there, but you can see, you can see the steel. So here, 636, apply here. That way we just don't, okay, so there's that. Now, we come here, turn this on, and I'm going to show you, it's a little bit harder to see over here because the lighting wasn't good. So new view. Orthogonal. Turn this on. So we, oh, it should be right here. So let's see. Yeah, 3 foot, 3 foot. That's kind of interesting. Usually it doesn't do that. So you just come here, here. Okay. This is where we're working. Okay. Yeah, those are going to be tough. I wonder. Yeah, so you can see those lines are a little bit more tough, but you can see a line here, a line here, a line here. And if this starts to get difficult, the thickness, I believe, should make the outsides like that. There we go. So you can mess with these a little bit, and you start to see even in, and this will be the darkest area because the sun was starting to come out as I came over here, and so it was just a lot easier to see. But you just have to zoom into the right amount, and you can start to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all these lines. All that rebar, and it's a little bit easier down here, but it just gets dark because there's a little enclave, thing right there. See, zoom even more. Okay, so there's that. I think that's about it. That will get you, super clear over here. That's like the front, and then this was much. Oh, that's steel. This was much lighter. But even if you only can see some of them and it's a little bit difficult or whatever, I do also have these. Oops. Submittals and site. So you've got the scanner images. Oops. This is two. Two is the only one I stepped back for. I'm behind the van. One, I'm in front of the van. Other than that, pretty much all the scans work clockwise. This is the side we were just looking at, and then it goes all the way across to the front of the building and then comes around in the back over here. But you can zoom in and see how clear these images are. These are just on the scanner too. These are not nearly as crisp as the iPhone pictures, right? This is the front corner. So, oops. Right here. So this is steel. This is the back of the beam, and then it comes all the way over here. And you can see this is like really poor lighting, and you can still see all of this very clearly. Then you come over here to site images, and it just goes in order. And I took pictures of the steel in case it was useful. Oh, there was a lemon tree outside. Because these connections I know were going to be used, and so there's very high density around these connections because the scanner was near them in a high density setting. But look, this is like the worst lighting in the whole spot. So let's just see this. Let's look at this and see how bad this is. Let me view 3 that we made over here on the left. So it is. It's going to be tough to see right here. Maybe a little bit. Oh. So yeah, it's a little tough to see, but if you can make them out, here's the wider ones, and then you start getting into the skinnier ones. Here's the wider ones, and then you start getting into the skinnier ones. And there's some stuff up here. Oops. There, you can zoom in and make it even bigger. Here's a line, here's a line, here's a line, here's a line, here's a line. That's pretty much the hardest it's going to be. Everything from here to the right starts to get much easier. I mean, you can even tell. So that's kind of the only hard section. I think that's about it. Should be able to do it in all these all the way around. And then, like I said, there's a lot of information on this steel right here. It doesn't like to rotate around that correctly. But that coupled with the pictures, right, side images, that should be, yeah, right here. Oh no, it's the one before this. It's this one. So you can see all the information coupled with the point cloud. And then if you guys know what size beam this is, it becomes very easy. And you can even tell what size HSS this is by taking a small cross section and checking the radius of the outside corner of the tube. Boom, you know exactly what size that column is right here. That's it.